All right, this is number 7 in the Prager Rational Bible. All right, verse 1. On the day that Moses finished setting up the tabernacle, he anointed and consecrated it and all of its furnishings, as well as the altar and its utensils. All right, so chapter 7 recounts the involvement of each Israelite tribe in enabling the Levites to do their holy work in the tabernacle, later on the temple. It describes the gifts each tribal chief brought to the Levites. Each tribe brought the same gifts. And this chapter, with its 89 verses, is the longest in the Torah. It may also have the fewest commentaries. Not a whole lot of commentary on this either. Timothy Ashley writes, "This passage is one of the most repetitive, and consequently one of the most ignored passages in the Old Testament. The cumulative effect of the repetition is that its readers are assured that each tribe had an identical share in the support of the ministry of the tabernacle." All right, so that's what this Timothy Ashley guy says. And then Prager says this: "I believe that one reason for the repetition to drive home, as only repetition can, is to drive home that each tribe donated an identical amount to the Levites." Okay. Yeah, because they pretty much did. However, I believe there's another and more important reason to have this repetition: to give honor to each tribe and to each tribal leader. That is, to assert the importance of each individual in each tribe. And Ronald Allen says this: "Analogies of repetition found in this chapter may be made with graduation ceremonies. Sometimes, even when schools are very large, degrees are granted in mass on an athletic field, for example. No names are read and no graduates come across the platform for a handshake and the receipt of a diploma. The class is asked to stand, all of them pronounced in receipt of their degrees, and the word is made that their diplomas will be in the mail. And in smaller schools, the situation is remarkably different. It's markedly different. Here, each name is read, and each student crosses the platform, and each receives a diploma, and a handshake, may even hear a few personal words. And this latter type of highly personalized situation is reflected in Numbers 7. Yeah. You've been to some of those graduation ceremonies. Yeah, I mean, in a small town, that is usually what happens. The names of the graduates are said, they come up, they shake principal's hand, other teachers, and then they get their diploma, and then they walk off the stage and sit back down. And then you just keep going until everybody's done. Anyway. And then the Torah asserts the importance of the collective, specifically the family and the nation. But first and foremost, it asserts the preciousness of every individual. The Torah could have easily just said each tribe brought the gifts, without the name of any tribe or any tribal leader. But it went out of its way to name each tribe and each leader. And there is a related lesson here. People tend to think their generation is the most important ever. People tend to regard events that occurred before they were born and people who lived before they were born not as particularly important, with of course a few exceptions. By citing every tribal leader, the Torah announces this: these people are important. You who live after them do not know them, but that does not mean that they were not important. Just as people who will live a century from now might think that you're not important. Yeah. And also, I guess it just shows that God really does care about people. That it may be repetitive and maybe sometimes a pain to read the repetition. Yeah, but the Lord put it in there for a reason. I don't know if it's for these reasons, or maybe just it shows more of His love for people, and that really He honored the tribes for giving to the Levites in obedience. Yeah, maybe that was His way of saying a good job on that. I don't know. Yeah. So when He had anointed and consecrated them, the utensils, the chieftains of Israel and the heads of the ancestral houses, namely the chieftains of the tribes, those who were in charge of enrollment, drew near, and they brought their offering before the Lord, 6 draught carts and 12 oxen, a cart for every 2 chieftains, and an ox for each one. And when they brought them before the tabernacle, the Lord said to Moses, "Accept these from all of them for use in the service of the tabernacle of meeting, and give them to the Levites according to their respective services." And then Moses took the carts and the oxen and gave them to the Levites. So as explained on a number of occasions, because the Levites devoted their lives to the tabernacle service, they had no independent source of income. So therefore the other Israelite tribes supported them. The gifts to the Gershonite, Merarite, and Kohathite Levites. All right, verse 7. 2 carts and 4 oxen he gave to the Gershonites as required for their service. So the Gershonites, whose job it was to deal with the curtains and the hangings of the tabernacle, were given 2 carts and 4 oxen, I guess to use to carry that stuff. And 4 carts and 8 oxen he gave to the Merarites as required for their service under the direction of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. So the Merarites, whose responsibility was the heavier framework of the tabernacle, were given 4 carts and 8 oxen. Yeah, and there's a reference to Numbers 4. So a little refresher from chapter 4, verses 24 through 33. I may not read that whole thing, but yeah, 24 through 33. For the Merarites, they are, verse 31. And these are their porterage tasks in connection with their various duties for the tent of meeting, the tabernacle. They're responsible for the planks, bars, posts, and sockets of the tabernacle, and then the posts all around the enclosure and their sockets, pegs, cords, all the furnishings, and their service. So, alright, so that's what the Merarites were responsible for. And so they get the 4 carts and 8 oxen to carry those things. But the Kohathites, he did not give any, since theirs was the service of the most sacred objects. Their porterage was by shoulder. So the Kohathite Levites were given no carts or oxen, because their job was to carry the holiest things of the sanctuary on their shoulders. And carry the Ark of the Covenant by poles. And the holiest items were not to be transported by animals, but by men, because humans and animals are not equivalent, and only human beings were created in the image of God. And also in 2 Samuel 6, whenever King David is having the Ark of the Covenant brought to Jerusalem, they actually don't follow that commandment. Yeah, the ark is, I think it's actually being carried by oxen, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be carried by Kohathite Levites on poles. Yep, and then of course when Uzzah tries to steady the ark after the oxen stumbles and the ark begins to fall, Uzzah steadies it, and then God strikes him dead. Yeah, because you weren't supposed to touch it. And it wasn't being carried correctly, so. But at least they do get it to Jerusalem, and David dances before the Lord, even though his wife Michal doesn't like it. But he'll become more undignified than this. Alright, I just wanted to throw that in there, because these commands that I read about in Numbers so far, they were not followed in that story. So, all right, Gershonite, Merarite, and Kohathite are explained at the opening of Numbers 4. Yeah, just the different Levitical clans. Yeah, the different sons of Levi. Yeah. All right, 10. The chieftains also brought the dedication offering for the altar upon its being anointed. As the chieftains were presenting their offerings before the altar, the Lord said to Moses, "Let them present their offerings for the dedication of the altar, one chieftain each day." Day 1, the gifts of the tribe of Judah. All right, verse 12. The one who presented his offering on the first day was Nahshon, son of Amminadab of the tribe of Judah. And Nahshon, son of Amminadab, he was actually a direct descendant of Judah from the 5th generation. He was also, through Boaz, an ancestor of King David. Yeah, well, David does come from the tribe of Judah, and ultimately so does Jesus. Alright, 13. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, and 1 silver basin of 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for a meal offering, 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, and 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, and 1 goat for sin offering, and for his sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs. And that was the offering of Nahshon, son of Amminadab. So the gifts of the other 11 tribes now to be listed were identical. Reread them all again. Yeah, read it before with MacArthur, but do it again. So the gifts of each of the tribes, again, 1 silver platter, 1 silver sprinkling bowl, 1 gold ladle, the plate and bowl containing flour mixed with oil for a grain offering, the ladle filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb for the burnt offering, 1 buck goat for a sin offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 buck goats, and 5 male lambs for an offering of well-being or peace offering. Day 2, the gifts of the tribe of Issachar. On the second day, Nathaniel, son of Zuar, chieftain of Issachar, made his offering. He presented as his offering 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, and 1 silver basin, 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for a meal offering, 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for burnt offering, 1 goat for sin offering, sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs. This was the offering of Nathaniel, son of Zuar. Day 3, the gifts of the tribe of Zebulun. Same thing. On the third day, it was the chieftain of the Zebulunites, Eliab, son of Helon. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, silver basin, 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour mixed with with oil mixed in for meal offering, 1 gold ladle, and 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 bull of the herd, and 1 ram, 1 lamb in its first year for burnt offering, 1 goat for sin offering, for sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs. This was the offering of Eliab, son of Helon. And then day 4, the gifts of the tribe of Reuben. On the 4th day, it was the chieftain of the Reubenites, Eliezer, son of Shedeur. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver basin of 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for meal offering, 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for burnt offering, and 1 goat for sin offering. For his sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs. And this was the offering of Eliezer, son of Shedeur. Day 5, the gifts of the tribe of Simeon. On the 5th day, it was the chieftain of the Simeonites, Shelumiel, the son of Shurishadai, I guess. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver basin of 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for meal offering, and 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for burnt offering, and 1 goat for sin offering. For the sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs. This was the offering of Shelumiel. It's hard to say that. Son of Shurishadai. Day 6, the gifts of the tribe of Gad. And on the 6th day, it was the chieftain of the Gadites, Eliasaph, son of Deuel. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver basin of 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for meal offering, 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram, 1 lamb in its first year for burnt offering, 1 goat for sin offering. For sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, and 5 yearling lambs. This was the offering of Eliasaph, son of Deuel. And then day 7, the gifts of the tribe of Ephraim. On the 7th day, it was the chieftain of the Ephraimites, Elishama, son of Ammihud. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, and 1 silver basin of 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for meal offering, 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, and 1 goat for sin offering. And for a sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs. This was the offering of Elishama, son of Ammihud. Day 8, the gifts of the tribe of Manasseh. So on the 8th day, it was the chieftain of the Manassites, Gamaliel, son of Pedazur. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver basin of 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for meal offering, and 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, and 1 goat for sin offering, and for his sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs, and this was the offering of Gamaliel, son of Pedazur. Day 9, the gifts of the tribe of Benjamin. On the 9th day, it was the chieftain of the Benjaminites, Abidan, son of Gideoni. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for meal offering, and 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, and 1 goat for a sin offering, for sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs, and this was the sin offering of Adion, son of Gideoni. There may have been a typo right there. Yeah, that was actually for the peace offering. Yeah, so it was all of that was just the offering of Adion. Anyway, day 10, the gifts of tribe of Dan. On the 10th day, it was the chieftain of the Danites, Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels by the sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for meal offering, and 1 gold ladle, 10 shekels filled with incense, and 1 bull of the herd, and 1 ram and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, 1 goat offering for sin offering, and for his sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs. That was the offering of Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. Day 11, the gifts of the tribe of Asher. On the 11th day, it was the chieftain of the Asherites, Pagiel, son of Ochran. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver basin of 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for meal offering, and 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 bull of the herd, 1 ram and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, 1 goat for sin offering, and for a sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs. And this was the offering of Pagiel, son of Ochran. And day 12, the gifts of the tribe of Naphtali. On the 12th day, it was the chieftain of the Naphtalites, Hira, son of Enon. Oh, here's some notes. Was the Sabbath one of the 12 days, or did they take a day off for the Sabbath, given that the Torah, including the 10 Commandments, expressly prohibits working on the Sabbath? I don't know, maybe they did. I assume that the donations to the Levites enumerated here did take place on the Sabbath. One of the reasons one reason is if no donations, I was about to say damnation, were made on that day, the Torah would have likely noted that fact. And a second reason is that temple activities were of such holiness that normal Sabbath prohibitions, such as lighting a fire, Exodus 35:3, were suspended in the temple service. So maybe they didn't celebrate Sabbath in this case. Alright, 79. So Ahira, son of Enon of the Naphtalites, is now offering his offering on the 12th day. His offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver basin of 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with oil mixed in for meal offering, 1 gold ladle of 10 shekels filled with incense, and 1 bull of the herd, and 1 ram and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, and 1 goat for a sin offering, and for his sacrifice of well-being, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearling lambs. And this was the offering of Ahira, son of Enon. Gift totals, 84. And this was the dedication offering for the altar of the chieftains of Israel upon its being anointed. The silver bowls, 12. Silver basins, 12. Golden ladles, 12. And silver per bowl, 130. And per basin, 70. Total silver vessels, 2,400. And then the 12 gold ladles filled with incense, 10 shekels per ladle, per ladle, total of 120 shekels of gold. Total of herd animals for burnt offerings, 12 bulls, of rams, 12, of yearling lambs, 12, with their proper meal offerings, a goat of goats for sin offerings, 12, and then the total herd of animals for sacrifices of well-being, 24 bulls, rams, 60, he-goats, 60, and of yearling lambs, 60. Yeah, because each of them had 5 of those. And of course, 5 times 12 is 60. And this was the dedication offering for the altar after its anointing. And verse 89, and now God will speak in chapter 8. And when Moses went into the tent of meeting to speak with him, he would hear the voice addressing him from above the cover that was on top of the ark of the pact between the 2 cherubim. Thus he spoke to him. So now that the Israelites have fulfilled their divine duties to God's pleasure, now the divine God will speak. But won't hear him speak until chapter 8. So, Lord willing, I'll get to chapter 8 next time. But until then, may God bless you in grace and mercy won by Jesus, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all.